Hi, I'm Elizabeth Garfunkel, and I'm here to help people who are looking for answers. When I have questions, I always want divine guidance. I don't want to try to solve my problems on my own. And so I often turned to Viking runes or oracle cards. And maybe you do too. Maybe you have questions. Maybe you have a dilemma. Maybe your life path was going a certain way and suddenly everything changed. Maybe you're at a crossroads and you have to choose between two options and you just wish there was some way you could get some guidance on your burning questions that are very important because it's about your life. It's about what direction you might take. It's about choices you have to make. And you just want to have a little bit of insight, and maybe you have intuition and you sense what's going on, but you don't trust it. So you feel like, I want to have some kind of proof that I'm on the right track. Is my life going the way I want it to, so that I will end up where I will have my dream come true? Am I moving towards my goals? And you just wonder if you're on the right path. And the thing is, there are so many kinds of divination tools out there. So I mentioned oracle cards, and I say that because they're excellent. I mean, you pull a card and then there's a description and it'll tell you some really good advice. The problem is sometimes maybe your question didn't fit neatly into the same kind of pat answer. You want something more specific. You really want more details. You want, if it gives you a general response, it's just not enough to answer your question. You get an idea, and yes, it is guidance, and yes, they do work, but in the end, you're still left with nagging doubts and dilemmas that you're faced with, and not clear instructions. So, oh God, the cat. Okay, let me. Hopefully he won't start meowing. Yes, that was the cat. That was my son's cat. So anyway, what you really want is a way to communicate with the other side. We all have spirit guides who are there for us. It could be that you believe in the Holy Spirit, or you believe in source, or you believe in your higher self, however you want to describe it. Cards can give you a window into the other side. It just is a way to communicate, and especially the one that I learned, it is very specific and it'll give you accurate results, the ones that you've been looking for. So without further ado, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the Tarot de Marseille, which is the subject of my best-selling book. The Tarot de Marseille has 22 major arcana, and because I can't, in a short webinar, teach 78 cards in total, obviously we're not doing that today. So I just wanted to give you a flavor. So this guy here is called the Magician, and the Magician is the first card. So it's the 1, and it starts the whole cycle. And the Magician, as you can see, he's a young man. He's standing in front of a table. It has only 3 legs, but it's still standing. Then he has a lot of tools on his table. He's holding a wand in one hand, and he's holding a coin in the other hand. And he has a sword, and he has a cup on his table. He also has some dice and so on for luck. But the important part of those 4 elements, because in the tarot, the minor arcana are divided into those 4 elements, same as astrology has 4 elements. And so the wands represent work, the cups represent love, the swords represent ideas or spirit, and what am I missing? Oh, the coins represent money or material goods, earth. All of them correspond to elements. So when you look at the magician, it might be just one card, but it can mean hundreds, or there's countless interpretations. So first off, let's start that there's really 2 kinds of magicians. One is doing actual magic. So that would include witches and sorcerers and those types of magicians. Then you also have the sleight of hand kind of magicians. So you have those that are, as he appears to be standing in front of a table, he might be putting on a magic show, which is really an illusion. So right there, you have 2 very different kinds of interpretations that can be made. On the first hand, it's someone who's actually making magic. If it's not literally magic, it could be that they're doing something incredible with the tools that they have on hand. They're making something out of nothing, pulling a rabbit out of a hat, so to speak. So they're actual magicians. Then they're the ones who are showmen, and they could be just showing off, like manipulating, making you believe something that's not true. And so then the magician takes on a more negative sense. The thing about it is he has all the elements at his command. So he's moving them about and he's manipulating them. Now, to go beyond just the most basic magician idea, there's the fact that he's a young man. He's very young. He looks like an adolescent or even a boy. So it could be a child playing. And later on, we'll learn that when I place them in the astrological houses, they have different meanings. So for example, if you got this one in Leo, that is often children and creativity, it could be that there's actually a small child, even a boy. But also think about the fact that he's holding a wand. It looks sort of like a conductor's baton. So is he a music director? Or is he's holding, he has the sword and the cup. Is he cooking? Is he a chef? You see that he has a cup in front of him. Is he a bartender? So whatever, when you're looking at him, whatever you're seeing in that moment is meaningful. Perhaps maybe you look at his hat and you realize it looks like the number 8, that is a sign of infinity. Whatever you're seeing, that's what his meaning is. So I can look at these cards 100 times, and over 30 years, I have looked at each one of them countless times. And every time I come up with new ideas, and it just never ceases to amaze me. So that's the major arcana, and there's 22 of them. So that is only one. So now I wanted to show you what the minor arcana look like in my deck. Now, if you use the most popular deck in America, the Rider-Waite deck, you know that the cards, the minor cards, are also very thoroughly illustrated. So they're not as, mine are very much plain. This is a precursor to that deck. Now, here we see the Ace of Swords. So this would be, as the magician is the number 1 and he's the initiator, it could be like a new idea. And swords also can mean words as well. Here you have the Ace of Wands. Wands have to do with activity and work. And so it could be that you see the hand there. It's like you're taking up a new job. Here you have the Ace of Cups. So with the energy of the Magician applied to cups, which represent the heart or love, then you can think about, well, this is actually the Holy Grail. So it is the greatest love. So, but it can mean, you know, a new love too. And then lastly, you have the Ace of Coins. So again, that can be someone who's very good at finances because he is holding his coin. The Magician is holding a coin. So this means someone who's very good and knows how to use the markets or investments, could be that. So that's how you end up with lots and lots of details. And when you're placing them in the 12 houses of the zodiac, and each house represents an aspect of a person's life. So the Aries represents the self or the consultant, and the Libra represents their significant other or a partner. And then in the Cancer, we have the home and family. And then in Capricorn, we have the career and long-term goals, as Capricorns are goats and they climb slowly, they advance. So taking our example of the Magician, imagine if you got this in Capricorn along with the coin, Ace of, you'd have someone who's really on a path with his career where he's got everything he needs at his fingertips, and it would just look like smooth sailing. Now, if someone got this as he said Leo, it could be a child or a friend if it's Aquarius, or social contacts for Gemini. So all of those houses, it would have a different meaning. And then I add 2 minor arcana. So each house has 3 cards, 1 major and 2 minors. And that way you get such a full picture, and you're seeing, Taurus being your money and luxuries and material items. So you get like such a clear picture, and it really can be astounding, especially when you see someone's whole life reading, when you've got the 12 houses, 36 cards, and each little detail is telling a story. And it can just be blowing you away with its accuracy and as I say, rich in details. So this is what I learned from a Swiss man 30 years ago, and he's a very renowned author in Switzerland in the French language. And I've been doing this for 30 years, and I feel like it's been a great blessing on my life. And I feel like people I've read might feel the same. Some of them, they usually leave feeling uplifted and having renewed hope and clarity about the trends. It's not so much the future, it's more about where you're headed, where you might end up. So you might be saying, well, that's all well and good, but I'm glad you learned how to do this, but maybe it's not so easy for me. Maybe you don't think you have intuition. Maybe you are afraid that it's too complicated, or a lot of people have actually a religious objection towards fortune telling, because in the Bible it says, don't listen to soothsayers and so on. But you can also look to the Bible to see plenty of examples, such as Joseph and his 7 fat cows followed by 7 skinny cows, or the Star of Bethlehem being followed by astrologers. So it's important to understand that this is a tool and it's not inherently evil. At least I don't believe so, because I see its benefits and I see what good it does in the world. So the most important thing that you need as a tarot reader is to want to help. So if you have a servant's heart, the answers will come through. So if this is all interesting to you and you think you might want to learn from me, and I can tell you that I would hope that my enthusiasm and my love of these cards, that I have been my companions for 30 years now, I would like to talk to you about, if you might like to learn, you could get on my Calendly and set up an appointment for 1 hour. I can do a live demonstration of the technique to you, or we can just discuss and I can explain more about what would be contained in studying this. I have my original teacher's book that I can draw on to actually teach his method. His name was Jean-Pierre Bessard, and he was a Swiss tarot master. As I said, he's written a dozen books in French. So this is a quick, my book was a quick sort of a translation along with my take. And if you enjoyed that, then maybe you'd like to continue on your journey and take the next step. And if so, as I say, you can go to my Calendly. I'll drop it in the comments below. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.